Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers, and this is part 88 of the story of creation. So today, let's see who they're going to bring because I have no idea. We've got angelic, so angels, and it's interesting because they're showing me like a lot of them moving in one direction, like marching in, marching. I know that sounds weird, but that's how I'm seeing the angels this morning. So they're coming, they're showing me there's like tens of thousands coming into the space that we're creating. So again, I'm going to encourage you to feel the energy as I'm sharing what they're sharing with me, because usually, in these experiences, it's 10% is going to be the words you understand, but 90% is going to be the energy that ultimately is reigniting truth that's already inside of you. That's all we're doing here, right? All of this story of creation, all of this level of universal truth, it's just triggering the wisdom that's already in you to rise to the surface, right? That's all we're doing. This is not, revolutionary in the sense that it's nothing new. And yet it's something that your brain has been trained to ignore. Your brain has been trained to pretend isn't real. And so what we're doing is they're showing me like we're igniting that core feeling inside of your, inside of your gut. Yes, but it's like that gut feeling, right? We want to reawaken your senses, your ability to feel energy, because that is the core of existence. It is the reason for existence. And so ultimately today, the angelics, what they're showing me is it's interesting. I've never seen this before. So this is the first stream angelics are here and the second stream, but they're coming together. So first stream angelics, for those who are new, I'll give you a Cole's Notes version and understanding that the first stream angelics, their task in the universe is to create matter, to hold space for matter, and to continue the evolution of matter. And the second stream angelics are tasked with creating experience and creating opportunity throughout the whole entire universe. So they hold space for that, but they're also tasked with continuing the evolution of experience on a universal perspective. And this is what they're saying is so vital to our human understanding, because this is the part that's been missed, is that existence is based on evolution. Existence is not based on a static state of being where then you think, oh, maybe I'll be doing something, or maybe I'll be interested. It's understanding that we're all here to participate in evolution. And evolution is exploring our potential. And so what the angelics are coming together, like this is monumental, is what they're showing me. They've never held this level of ceremony, I don't even know how to explain it in words, but the energy is this coming together of two bodies of conscious awareness in existence, and it's like they're combining. It's more than that, because the way they're showing me is when they're two energies, so these two completely different streams of conscious beings, but there's millions and billions and trillions of each stream, right? But it's understanding that they're coming together as one today. But it's not. So normally when universal beings want to communicate one message, they'll all energetically become one energy, and then they speak collectively, if you will. But today it's different. They're coming together, and it's like a tornado spins. The two energies are mixing in each other, but they're going up. So they're rising. And what they're showing me is, it's it's almost like the conversation we have today is going to be a vacuum energetically that brings consciousness up, like the consciousness of humanity, because really humanity is the only one that is not conscious anymore, right? This is, and that's not even the right word. It's not conscious anymore. It's we're not embodying our full conscious state of being. And so ultimately what they're showing me is we are coming to this place in existence where there's enough interest in truth and universal truth. This is not my truth. This is my truth. This is my, my truth right now. And it just gets bigger and it gets bigger. And, this is your truth and I'm going to honor your truth. No, no, no. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about universal truth, right? And what happens is a human's capacity to hold truth is exponential. However, we use our emotions to block our capacity to receive, experience, and know truth. And so what they're doing is today so they're actually going to do a universal ceremony, which I mean, I've been doing these for 20 years with the universal beings. So when universal beings decide they're going to change existence, okay, energetically, they just do it. That being said, they also require human participation for the energy to be anchored in, to be locked in so that other humans have access to it. And so I learned about this 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. I've been doing it for that many years because that's what they explained to me years ago. And ultimately, I've been helping, not perform these ceremonies, but allow them to use my space, my energy as a way to lock energy in. So it's now available to humans. Because what happens is, universal energy is exponential. And if you have a human who wants to experience universal energy, but doesn't understand how energy works, then it becomes so uncomfortable that they don't want to be in their body anymore. Okay. And so, because it's like, sometimes it's like being struck by lightning. Sometimes it's like inside of you, there's something so big and you just can't contain it. You can't hold it. And so what they asked of me is if I could temper it, if you will. So temper it to a vibration that is more comfortable and more accessible is really the intention when they asked, right? If I would help do this, is to create a space that is more accessible so that humans can access that energy and not feel so overwhelmed. So that now, instead of, hearing truth and going, oh my gosh, this changes everything, I'm out. Now people can go, oh, okay, where does that fit? How does that change? Oh, I can see how that impacts this area of my life and this area of my life. And I see where a change is going to have to happen. But it becomes possible. And so they wanted me to explain that process that I've been participating in. They're saying I've been doing this for 18 years. So that's brilliant. And so ultimately, we're going to shift consciousness today. Now, what that means, because consciousness can't be changed, right? It's a record of everything in existence. But what we're doing is we're creating what they're showing me. So we're creating the opportunity to make consciousness more accessible. Okay. So what does that mean? Okay. So energetically, the vibration of truth is fundamentally different than the current human condition, the physiology of the makeup of the mind, right? So all of your ability to perceive energy, to feel energy is actually directed by your mind at this point, right? Because if you don't want to do something, if your mind has decided it's not going to happen, you're not going to experience it no matter whether it's happening or not, because your brain will deny everything, right? It's, right? When you're angry and you deny how angry you are, and then all of a sudden you explode because it just becomes overwhelming. We know how powerful the human mind is in its training to defy logic, really. That's the words they're using, because truth is actually logic. Universal truth is the most logical path of existence in existence. And most humans have been, it's funny the way they're showing me, it's plagued with this, it's like a conscience, right? Like we've been taught to question your conscience, so that you're not allowing yourself to follow along on this path of logic, which will always bring you back to feeling. You've actually been trained to defy your instincts and follow the way they're showing me, it's like a pre-recorded session of what logic is. And what they mean by that is you've been trained to follow lies. Okay. And that's a pre-recorded system of logic that is lodged in your head. That's why they created education systems, so that you would fill your brain with considerable amounts of facts that literally, it's funny the way they're showing me, it's like you became compulsive in your attachment and your addiction to like a corroborated truth. These are words that I would never use, so just work with me here, because ultimately what their goal was to shape your view of reality. And I know most of you know this. If you're watching this, you already know that that's true, but they're showing us how they did that, okay? How the manipulation created this warped reality in which logic, the trained logic completely defies universal logic, okay? And so what they're saying is it's actually not as big of a deal as most people think it is at this point, right? But again, that in itself, like thinking that this is such a big deal, like how could someone do this to us? Why would they do this? Why wouldn't they care that people are getting hurt? Why wouldn't they? Because it's such a bigger picture. And it's also understanding that those who created this experiment, if you will, okay, they're not concerned with human death as a result of their intention, because human life and death is like that. It's so tiny in comparison to existence, right? So this is where it's about coming back to the fact that it's not that humans are not important. It's that if you imagine, okay, you're going to play a game. And when you start playing your game, you're there, you're playing the game, you have all the pieces all the time, and you're going through all the motions. And whether you live or die at the end of that game, it's not a big deal. But that's how they think about humans coming back and having lives so many times. Why? It's because it's not a big deal, because you're just going to pop back in whenever you want. That's what life is about. That's exactly how we came to be. And on the other side, in this illusion, they created this sense of panic and this sense of fear for our lives. And then they fed that because they were like, wow, this really works. If we can create fear of death, right, then we can control them all. And if we can tell them that they're going to die when we want them to die, even better. All they have to do is follow the plan that we set out, and they're going to die exactly when they think they're going to die. Now, I know that this is a lot to hear and to think about and to accept, but the reality is, when was the last time you thought about how long you were going to be on this planet in this life? What's your visual? You know, do you feel like, oh, 50, you're going to 60, you're going to start slowing down, whatever your age is, whatever your number is, you're going to start slowing down, and then your body is going to stop doing the things you want it to. And maybe you're comfortable with that. And maybe you're, doing things to prolong your life. But there's a belief system in your brain, part of this illusion, that is based on not truth. And an ability to not access that level of truth. And so what they're asking you to do is to allow yourself to feel the potential of your soul. And this is what the Angelics wanted to bring to you today. Okay, this is the level of awareness, is that this experience isn't about life or death, because you go on and on and on. And it's only in this physical life that you don't have awareness of all your lives, all your experiences, what you're capable of, and what your potential is, and why you would want to come back. It's only here in this tiny little box, right, that's been created for you to step into, this literal belief system that has told you, death is imminent. That's logical, right? Death is imminent. So we came into this life with this goal, and you better hurry up and do it before you die. Not, okay, you're here to accomplish everything that you could possibly imagine and dream of. You're going to go out and explore it. Why? Because you're an explorer, and you're here to try everything that is of interest to you. And your body has the capacity to do everything you want it to. But you got to work with it. You got to feed it. You got to feed it, right? It's just like, so the intention of the universe, right, is intention becomes energy, becomes experience. That's how the universe has been created. It's how every life is created. It's how your soul, you as your soul, created this life for you. Your soul set out an intention, and you're here, and your soul is feeding the energy. And sometimes you're listening, and most of the time you're not listening, because you have this idealist system, okay, that is not based on universal logic. It is based on control and manipulation. And you keep feeding that energy. So your experience is exactly what you're feeding. And your soul is like, no, we can do this. And that's those moments where you feel like, I got to do this. I don't know why. But then your rational, mental, trained logic comes in and goes, oh, but we can't do it because of this, and this. And what they're saying is, we're coming back to that place where we can hold space for the truth of our souls, for the truth of the universe, in ways that humanity hasn't been able to hold for tens of thousands of years. And the reality is, it's going to make life super uncomfortable for a little bit. Not because it's bad, but because you're going to have to be questioning everything about your own existence, but also existence itself, how you believe existence is meant to unfold. Because most of your beliefs are in alignment with this negative. And when I say negative, I don't mean like, oh, poor me negative. I mean negative as in they're the counterpart to existence. So energetically, it's a negative. Let me see if I can feel into it. It's like a black hole. Okay. So there's energy there, but the energy sucks from you rather than holding a space where existence has potential and possibility. Okay. And so what they're sharing and what they're saying is we're coming to this place of in existence where conscious awareness has to be restored. So humans have to, this inner struggle has to end. And it's going to be a shocking ride. Okay. And when they say shocking, it's going to be like a plane crash, shocking. Okay. Like it's going to be, everything is going to be shocking. But right now we've got the entire religious system on the verge of collapse. The financial system is going to probably be the one that is going to hold on the longest because it has the most infrastructure underneath it. And what that means is they've designed it strategically to ensure your fear continues to hold that structure. Okay. But the religious system is currently crumbling, and it is crumbling faster than anyone and everyone expected. Why? Because it's built on lies, but it's more importantly, it's built on the belief that humans are inferior. We're inferior to each other, and we're inferior to those in control and manipulation. And that's what the energy they're going to change today is restoring that awareness, that sense of knowing and understanding that every human is an integral part of existence. And the creator and all the universal beings are not judging anybody. They're not waiting for you to screw up. They're not looking for what you did right or wrong, ever. They're not cheering you on going, oh, that was really great. That was a good job. That's not what they're doing. What they're doing is going, oh, what are you interested in? Okay, what is your, you're coming closer to your life mission. Awesome. This is what you need. This is what you need over here. We're going to make sure that you have these resources. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That's where their excitement comes from participating in other universal beings' fulfillment. Why? Because that's what we were all created to do. So it's why, right? You instinctively want to participate and help others. The problem is you have been in this, the trained logical mind that says this is how you help others, to your own deficit, to your own detriment, to their own detriment, right? Feel sorry for them, make sure you can fix it for them. None of these things are appropriate. When the universe helps, I use that word helps, when the universe offers you resources and opportunities for you to rise more into your opportunities, really is what they're doing. They want to know that that's actually what you want to participate in. So it's not like, here, here's a chest of money, here's a check, don't do anything, just sit on the sofa. They're like, okay, if we do this together, then this financial resource is going to be there for you, right? It'll just come, but you have to participate. And this is where we're angry. Humanity is so angry that we have to participate. And ultimately, that's because we have been trained under this system of illusion, okay, that participation is an eye for an eye, right? I'm going to give you 40 hours of my week and you're going to give me this much money, and then I have that amount of money to go and do what I need to do. And let's face it, more than half the population of the planet, I would say probably 70% is what they're showing me, don't have enough money to do what they need to do, like basic things, right? How ridiculous then is that system? And yet we still participate in it every single day. And what they're saying is, that's not how this works. The universe is built on pure potential. The only law in existence is free will. So if the universe is built on pure potential and your logical brain tells you that your potential is built on hurdles, blocks, and an inability to participate unless you know this, and this, you can't do it. You can't participate on a universal level. And so this shift that they're facilitating, it's happening now as we've been talking. And it's interesting because it's the energy is coming from the earth up. So Gaia is also participating, and it's in how I'm seeing it. It's like like snakes of universal energy, soul energy. So your soul, everyone's souls are participating. You can, period. Every human soul in existence is participating. And so what's happening is it's like the angelics are surrounding the experience, and they're holding space for this experience to unfold. And so all of the human souls on the planet are, it's like, we talked about the umbilical cord that we all have, right? Every human is energetically attached to existence and consciousness and all of these things. But what they're doing is they're turning up the vibration in that energy. And so it's literally like snakes, but they're going up, and they're connecting back into the universe. And that's the visualization. Energetically, it's not exactly how it all works, but they're saying that's not important. What's important is understanding that right now that cord that attaches you to the universe, which was for so long a lifeline, okay? It was this, it's like desperation. We've all been sort of living in this desperation, like this, there's got to be more to life than this, or there's got to be more to my relationship than this. There's got to be more to my job than this. Like, this just doesn't feel good. And so what they're saying is, it's that trickle, right? It's almost like if you, it's like those hoses where you can like turn the heat on, then they shrink down, right? They're opening it up so that your connection has room to flow and room to grow again. Because all of these lies, you already know they're lies. This is not shocking. The shocking part is going to be when you have to actually start admitting that they're lies, that you've built this safe and comfortable life on, and right now, humanity it's not about, this perfect life that we're moving towards. Nothing is meant to be perfect because we're all exploring. But what we do need to restore is our ability to actually be who we were created to be. This is why we feel like we can't breathe, right? It's like you can't get enough air, you can't get enough oxygen. It's really, you can't get enough information that allows you to go, oh, right, that's who I am. And take that deep breath and go, oh, right, that's what I'm meant to be doing here. That's why we're all running around like chickens with their head cut off, if you will, because we are cut off from our most valuable source of our own existence. And that's energy, universal energy. And in that energy is where truth is. It's your connection, yes, to consciousness, but it's understanding that consciousness is the past. Your potential is existence, and your job is to expand it, because when you expand it, you expand consciousness. And now you have something that interests you. You have a reason to participate in your own existence. And this is what we're plugging back into, is not that you have a higher calling, but Let's get you the information you need. Let's get you the support you need in the form of energy right now. And most people, most humans are thinking, well, I need more than energy. I need someone to tell me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And the reality is you don't. You need a stable connection to the universe. And that's what they're giving us. That's what today is about. They're trying to suck dry the well of despair. The well of despair comes directly as a result of all of the lies you've been told, all of the illusions that you believe are your limits, like how long you live, how healthy or not healthy your body is going to be, your mind is going to be, how many hours you need to work to get the money you need so that you can finally get a break. It's not how life was meant to be. We're all meant to be here experiencing abundance. Abundance is the concept of always more, always more. It's never, when is it too much? It's recognition that the universe only deals in abundance and more. And your job isn't to resist it. That's what you've been trained in, this illusion. No, I don't need that. Oh, that's too much. Oh, I can't handle that. Your job is to learn and to remember that you can hold the level of abundance, the exact same level as the entire universe. Why? Because you're a universal being. You were designed to hold the abundance of the universe. So right now, that's what's going to feel super uncomfortable over the next few weeks. Now that they're shifting this energy. So today is December 11th, 2025. And this is going to go on for the next 24 to 36 hours. So it'll be completed December 12th, which, no surprise. And at the end of the day, the goal is for you to remember what you're capable of. Not because you need to take on more burden, but because you need to recognize that the lies that you've been told, that you've been believing for so long, are terrifyingly inappropriate for who you are meant to be, who you were created to be, and who you are as a universal being. You're so much more. And now you're going to start to explore that. And as 2026 really gets closer, right? We start on December 21st, and that's the beginning of your exploration of your true potential. And it's going to be uncomfortable, guys, only for those who are not comfortable learning how to expand their capacity for more. So if you are one of those people who is not comfortable receiving, buckle up. It's not going to be a fun ride. But if you're the person who goes, I'm not great at receiving, but I am so ready to understand how this works, then you're open, then you're curious, and the universe has something to work with. There's an opening, and there's a curiosity in you that the universe can then work with. Okay? It's going to be an adventure, and it is going to be absolutely incredible. But again, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not meant to. And you're coming back to your roots. You're an explorer. So go explore your potential. See what it actually feels like to receive abundance. But remember, the universe isn't there to give you a whole bunch of stuff so you can sit on your butt and do nothing. The universe is there to give you the resources you need to fulfill the intentions that are not only close to your heart, but that you are 100% committed to. It's your commitment, it's your participation, and your willingness to continue to feed whatever it is, whether you want to lead your family so that your family all has the greatest sense of self in the history of existence for your family. That's incredible. And maybe your mission here is to change the entire world and share with billions of people. It doesn't matter. One isn't more important than the other. What matters is you have something that fills your heart and you are 100% committed to it, because then the entire universe is going to give you every resource you need. And instead of doubting that the universe is going to show up, your job is to allow yourself to recognize that the universe is going to show up in more ways than you could ever have imagined, but also in ways that you can't comprehend. And your job is to, that's what more looking at being able to receive more looks like, right? It looks like getting really comfortable going outside your comfort zone again, because more doesn't mean your bank account just starts filling up while you're sitting there doing the exact same thing. More means you got to change. You've got to adapt. You've got to allow yourself to step into that level of abundance, that flow of energy that is astronomical. And yep, we were all born and created to hold that much energy. But when you have denied it for so long, your body is drained. It's like the way they're showing me, it's like our physical bodies have become like cardboard. They don't have the capacity to hold the level of energy that they need. And that's what we've been going through the last, 50, 60 years, is becoming more malleable, more pliable with energy again. And this is now going to be a step up, a next level, but it's going to be astronomical in the sense of all of a sudden you're going, like, just imagine, right? You go from a feeling of cardboard to, oh my gosh, I'm full of universal energy and I can do anything and everything, right? That invincibleness. There's a significant difference from one to the other. Okay. So every single challenge that you have as you're going into it, the question you want to be asking yourself is this experience, is this conversation, is this relationship a part of the future that I want to create? Is this dynamic a part of the future that I want to create for myself and for humanity? And am I willing to put the effort in to making that dynamic what it has the potential to be? These are the big questions, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.